Whilst Flash are well established in North America, they only entered the UK market last year. When we first saw them at the outdoor trade show in Liverpool, we were impressed with their bomb-proof design, neat features with straps and buckles absolutely everywhere. Since then, we've been reviewing the aptly named Big Squishy and the smaller and slightly less aptly named Drifter. And within this video, we're going to tell you what we thought. Both pads share the exact same features, and the difference is, as is fairly clear to see, in their size and the depth and quantity of the foam used. There's potentially a separate video to be done on the pros and cons of big pads versus little pads, but as a sweeping summary, big pads, obviously great because they have a massive area to fall on, but on the downside, weigh 8.6 kilograms and may or may not fit into the car you own. They're a big weight to carry around, seriously cumbersome, especially if you're walking in and out of trees or anything with branches. So smaller pads, obviously smaller, there's less space to fall on and that's bad, but they weigh 6 kilograms. It's a hell of a lot lighter and as a result, potentially a bit more versatile too. If you've got lots of friends with lots of small pads, loads of small pads make a big area. If you don't have any friends whatsoever, maybe the Big Squishy's for you. If you're feeling bold or have got some big bucks in your back pocket, buy them both because they're designed to fit together courtesy of the Multipad strap. This is potentially my favorite feature of the Flash pads. It's really simple and is also significantly better for the pads than an equivalent ratchet, which would squeeze the foam and eventually over time compress it and damage it. So the first impression in use of the Flash pads is just how bomb-proof they are. They've got a 1,680 denier nylon outer, which feels absolutely indestructible. In addition to this, all of the buckles are made of metal. There isn't a single Velcro strap or plastic buckle in sight. This thing is about as good as it gets in terms of its build quality. And that goes for the back system as well. So the back system on both the Big Squishy and the Drifter is an actual back system, and that goes for the smaller pad too. It's got a good amount of width, a good amount of padding, and that's on both the shoulder straps and the waist belt. And there's adjustment on the top so you can bring it forwards into your center of gravity. There's also options to reduce the height. So if you're shorter, you can reduce the back length. The other thing that you could do, although it's not ideal, is remove it entirely when you're climbing in muddy areas and don't want to get the back system dirty. However, it's a little bit time consuming doing that. Perhaps the burliest strap of all though is that Multipad strap, which is made of seat belt webbing. This thing is absolutely made to last. It is bomb-proof, something I've now said probably several times too many, but it is. As if this weren't enough, you've got grab handles everywhere at both sides of the pad, and then you've got further ways of closing the pad in addition to the Multipad strap, courtesy of the buckles just here. When it comes to the foam, the Drifter and the Big Squishy understandably differ in the quantity used, but also in the way in which it's constructed. The Drifter features 2 centimeters of firmer foam on the top in order to distribute that initial impact, and then 9 centimeters of softer foam underneath that to help absorb that impact. This is a really classic and tried and tested combo that I really, really like. The Big Squishy differs insofar as it's got a 2.5 centimeter soft topper, which is a little unusual, followed by a 2 centimeter of firm, followed by an 8.5 centimeter of soft. There's a lot of foam within this pad. But the bit I've been unsure about is that 2.5 centimeter topper, which gives it an overall quite soft feel. This has raised 2 concerns for me. The first is simply that you might be more prone to rolling your ankle with that soft material on top. And the second just comes down to longevity. Because they feel really soft out of the box, my concern is that in use, it'll only get softer. So I think I'd have preferred to have seen something a little bit firmer from the get-go, and then to have it soften in time. In short, the Big Squishy is potentially a little bit squishier than I might have liked it to be. So overall, I've been really impressed with the Flash pads. I think they are built to last and have a really neat set of features. In particular, that Multipad carrying strap, which is just a really clever and simple solution to an age-old problem.